supposed to make it or?
Yeah. She never turned the door. I didn't get a message she wasn't coming.
Did she say she might not make this one?
I can't remember.
I thought she said she had a conflict.
I thought I
We
remembered
would have a conflict with this one. That was her. That was the other lady.
Are we live?
Yep.
All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the special school board meeting of the Metropolitan School District of North Posey County for September 23rd. We'll open the meeting by joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're opening the meeting to conduct the public hearing on the proposed 2020 school budget, capital projects plan, and the bus replacement plan. Dr. Camp will give us some explanations regarding the process and the changes that have occurred with the 2020 budget. There's no actions that we need to take at this time. We do have several resolutions to be adopted at our next October 15th meeting.
Okay. Every year you're required by law to do a transportation resolution and a capital projects resolution. It hasn't really changed, the two resolutions for each one of those. And basically in your bus replacement plan, you have to plan out the trading of your buses. You're required to keep buses 12 years. If you want to trade them earlier, you can. You just have to write a statement why. And like we had one, we probably will do that in the near future. A lot of problems with it. Goes into the shop all the time. We'll trade it out early, and basically it's just a statement. But it's a plan for that. And the capital projects plan is the plan of the projects that would be upcoming, ongoing, and that has been adjusted. And it really you're just listing things that are over $10,000. And in our plan we have HVAC. Replacement, repair, remodeling, repair. It's not really extremely specific, but it's things that you know that you're going to be doing over $10,000. The 2020 budget transfer resolution allows us to transfer money within funds, and I'll explain that some of that in a minute. And then we have a rainy day resolution where we're going to be transferring some money out of operations into rainy day. And then we have a resolution from education to operation when they changed the budget, and for 2019, they basically said that these staff members are moved into operation, so you have the ability to move money over. The state has now settled on 15%, and so last year, and they defined 15% a little better. So that's what that resolution will be all about. This year, we have found that we had the authority to move up to last year up to $1,599,600. We have found we didn't need to move that much, so and we're not. We're moving what we need. This year, the resolution will be $1,449,600. We may not need that much, but that's what we're estimating to be our 15%, and that's what's allowed by law. So that's what we're planning on doing. This year, it looks like, and I won't know until December when we get there. It looks like we'll move about $1,066,400. Somewhere in that neighborhood. So we can probably keep that resolution with the ability to move the 15%, but move what we need to move. So those are basically the resolutions. And the budget itself, it's a target. And when you're doing the budget, it's an 18-month budget, but then, we're also talking about the year of 2020, because when you're doing the budget and you're presenting it to the state, you got to do this last 6 months, and you have to do the year 2020. So it's an 18-month budget, but basically you're building to make sure you have enough money for 2020. We did advertise this budget. This is the 16-line statement of the education fund, the debt service funds. We have two, and then the operations fund and the rainy day fund, which is a non-tax bearing fund. In that, we have advertised that the tax rate will be $1.32. And, you know, we always estimate that real high. So if something would happen with our AV, we capture the dollars that we're entitled to. It's a protection. When you're doing budgets, they tell you to estimate the AV low, estimate your revenue low, and then build from there. And so that's kind of what we've done. We've done it that way since before me, and that's the way everybody does it. So that's what has been advertised. Our cash balances are good. Everything looks really good this year. You know, we did the bond issue, and we're doing a lot of repairs that saved a little bit of income revenue that we had in the operations. But next year in line 1 in the education fund, we're requesting a line 1, and that's the appropriations that we want to be able to spend, $8,939,040. We are definitely covering our two debts. We've asked for a line 1 for $498,000 and $872,942, two different debt services, because we have some debt with New Harmony, some debt without. And so that's what creates that. And in the operations fund, we're requesting $5,500,000. And that's where we requested high to protect ourselves. And that's what's running up the advertised tax rate. But at the end of the day, when you throw in a non-protected AV and what we think we truly can raise, I think that we're going to probably be able to raise somewhere around in the tax net tax, the levy taxes only. We're probably going to be able to raise about $2,500,000, $2,700,000. With that escalated line 1, we're asking to raise $3,531,000. So we're not going to get that, but it does protect us. And so when you put in the numbers that I think we're going to actually get, and then where the AV was last year, the tax rate is 85 cents. So that'd be up 4 cents from last year. Worst case scenario, the AV drops. If the AV drops, we get to raise a little more money than I'm estimating. I mean, it could go up to 90 cents, but I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere around 85 cents, 4 cents higher. I can't tell you an exact number because I don't know what the AV is going to be until they give us that. I built some of those numbers based on last year's 1782 notice, the growth quotient, 3.4% that they allowed us to increase the operations fund. And I kind of threw some numbers together. And so I feel pretty confident that it's going to be somewhere around 85 cents. Worst case scenario around 90. But then again, the bottom could fall out of the AV. Things could happen that I can't foresee. And I'm building some of that based on some of the things that we did with the bond issue as well, knowing some of the trends. So that is our budget, and just talking about the transfer resolution. In our operations fund, we're requesting to move $550,000 into rainy day. And every year we try to move over our leftover cash into rainy day to keep it above $1 million. We turn around and have been spending that on capital projects. Since we did the bond issue, we really didn't need to do that. So I've requested to move $150,000 back into the education fund. When it's in the education fund, then we talk one-time money with teachers. So that's kind of where we're at. So with that being said, anybody got any more questions about the budget?
So that 150, that'll come from rainy day
Mhm.
into the.
We're requesting the first 6 months, we're requesting right now to move the 550. When we approve the budget, we'll move 550 into rainy day, but then the next 6 months, we would move 150 back over into education. And as we get more knowledgeable about the Operation and Education Fund, if you remember, it used to be CPF, it used to be transportation bus replacement. CPF was a fixed tax rate. Now it's in the growth quotient. We don't know how much we need to continue to move over to operations for the staff that's over there. We're learning that this year for sure. Once we learn more, we might not even have to make the shift to rainy day to go back into education. We might just be able to do it straight from operation back into education, or reduce the amount that we're moving over to begin with and leave it there. But extra money is going to be in operation, and we can figure out a way to maneuver that. And the bond issues help a lot, because this year we're not having to spend a lot of money in our operations fund, because we're doing a lot of the work with the bond issue. So, the CVET, all the different sources of miscellaneous revenue always stay about the same. They may, in a good year, they may increase some. In a bad year, they may drop. So that there's more revenue than just the tax revenue, but that stuff stays the same. And we are losing the pension bond debt, which was a tax neutralization. Cost us, $300,000 a year, which will be available in operations fund next year. So in 2020, which we haven't had that money because we've had to neutralize it out of that fund. So that fund gets that money back. And we've been buying the buses out of rainy day, and now they can come back out of operations. And that's kind of what's been depleting our rainy day fund as well.
So we anticipate that 320 to be like a recurring dollar then after 2020.
The 320.
What you said, the neutralization cost.
Well, it was always reoccurring. It's just it will be there. Our bus replacement fund was wiped out,
Right.
and we were paying for buses out of rainy day. And we went to buying one bus or two, and in the past, before that neutralization hit, we were buying 3, and sometimes 4. And our fleet is getting old, so we're going to need to buy 3. So we'll be using that neutralized money to buy buses to catch our fleet back up. But it'll be recurring dollars. The other thing that happened that we'll be passing a resolution on, the TRF, it's a change for the state. The TRF went from 7.5% to 5.5%. The 3% stayed the same. There's 2 different sources of money, but the 3% from the teacher side stayed the same. But they cut it to 5.5%, so that freed up a little bit of money. And that's all I have on the budget. And we're scheduled to approve the budget in the regular October meeting. I think you were all providing the entire budget.
Any comments, questions? So we're supposed to take comment if someone is here for budget hearing purposes, and there is nobody that's signed up, so we'll let the minutes reflect that. We'll keep the hearing open until we.
In case somebody comes in.
In case somebody comes in, we'll keep the hearing open until we close the meeting. Anybody else have anything on the budget? Okay. Next item on the agenda is patrons' concern. Again, we do not have anybody signed up for that, so we'll reflect that accordingly. Next item is the consent items, so we'll entertain a motion to approve those consent items as listed, which include the minutes from the September 9th meeting as well.
Make a motion that we approve the consent items.
Second,
I'll second that.
so we have a motion by Mr. Schmidt and seconded by Mr. Stock to approve the consent items. Any comments or questions regarding those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. New business?
Shannon's been talking with me off and on about a walking path and adding a walking path around the facility, and it may, if the sidewalk project for the town gets involved, it may, might even be a route that would include the sidewalks throughout the town, but definitely around the perimeter of our property here. If you look at Farmersville, they have that inside their fence, and that's kind of what she's thinking, a wellness thing, and she's asking permission to move forward to look at the plans and look at some options and see if she can get donations, see if any corporations want to help, and if she can apply for any grants and do those things. And she didn't want to start that project and go down that road without knowing. So she's asking permission to be able to look at trying to build a walking path for the students and even the town to use.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Shannon's request to go out and pursue the walking path information.
I'll second it.
So a motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to approve Mrs. McMunn's request to move forward with possibly putting in a walking path around North Elementary. Any comments or questions? I would say, I know this has always been brought up for the high school, but I feel like, because the high school's used a lot, but I feel like the high school has a lot of stuff to walk on anyway. I mean, if this is something that is received, I would say South Harris would probably be, there's not another safe place to walk in that area, is it?
You go up the road to the subdivision, but that's about it.
But anyway, I think it's a great project. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries 5-0.
The next meeting is Tuesday, October the 15th in the board office, and that's because we're out of school on the Monday. And so we'll have a meeting on October the 15th, executive session at 5:30. We will be talking about bargaining at that time, and in that meeting also, we will have a hearing for bargaining, a new requirement by legislation. So we'll have that hearing in that meeting, and we'll have executive session to talk about that. And I'm going to be calling you before then to talk with you about some of our bargaining things. And also in that meeting, we will be approving the 2020 budget.
I thought we already had the bargaining here.
You have to have one that's open, and you have to have one to close with the TA, all the TA agreements.
Gotcha.
And then after that, we can wait to November to approve it or not approve it, or we can have a special meeting to approve it. And that'll be your choice when we get to that point. We've had one bargaining session already, and we've got another one this Wednesday.
October probably wouldn't work, but you think November we'll get back to maybe going to a different building?
And I was, kind of waiting till we get to where we got things to go see. I know we've got the STEM labs in the elementaries, so we could probably start there and then And then the high school, the things there, I mean, we've got the junior high stuff okay to go, but the high school stuff is not ready yet, so.
We're trying to say that to the
Also, I have a video that Mike Washford, the golfer, he's put it together, and we're waiting on him to finish the track. And then we were gonna buzz over it one more time and have a before, during, and after video and post on our websites, but that's not prepared yet.
All right. Anybody else have anything for the other cause?
So there was a first safety committee meeting just today, and the minutes are in your folder.
Okay. Any major updates to?
So trying to finish up this reunification is the main goal. It's taking much longer than anticipated. It's getting there, it's getting close.
Anybody else have anything?
Our junior high cross country team had a pretty good weekend again. We had like 100, out of 150, we had a few in the top 10.
Yeah, I was not at this one.
Yeah.
Was that your favorite college university? Football stadium?
Probably not.
No, it was Purdue.
One of the things y'all asked me to do is, and we have it set up, and I will have it in the regular October meeting. The good news, it will start, you'll see August and September in one, and then we'll go from there.
So speaking of that, the Sunrise deal is Friday, right? That's been getting a lot of good publicity. Channel 14 does that, is that right?
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm going. I don't know. I decided that. That's awful early in the morning.
I went last time, yeah.
I
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going this time.
don't know. I may wait for the video. We'll see. And then Sunday, I guess we're all going, right? Any thoughts on what time we want to head up or meet?
I haven't looked at it
I haven't, honestly, I haven't looked yet either. Do we have dinner somewhere?
Mhm.
What time's that?
Let's see what place birthday.
I didn't bring that in here. I can't remember the time. I know the Monday night dinner has been moved because Schul's is closed.
It's showing like around 6, isn't it?
I'm thinking it is.
Which
I'll
is
send
5 our time.
I'll shoot you an email tomorrow.
I would say, I mean, we could think about it, but it's probably gonna need to be around 12, 1-ish, 1:30, somewhere in that area.
We don't have a van, we're driving separate, we decided already.
If we got our van that we can take.
All right.
You just have to clean it before I take it back.
Yeah.
There you go. Anybody else have anything? I entertain a motion to close. So do we need to officially close the? budget?
Yeah, we need to officially close the budget here.
All right, so we don't need to do a,
You just do that.
just notate that we're officially closing the budget hearing.
Like, no time or anything.
Yeah, you probably should. All right, now we'll entertain a motion to close the regular meeting. Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second it.
so a motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to adjourn. We are so adjourned. And we're off, right?